Okay, that's better. Welcome to Kid Missing TV. I'm your host, Angelina Wilson. Today we'll be talking about the Babes in the Woods, the Stanley Park Boys. These two little boys, brothers, skeletal remains were found in the woods of Stanley Park in Vancouver, British Columbia. Stanley Park is a huge park, see map. And they had been murdered by being hit over the head with a shingler's or lather's hammer. We're not talking about lather, we're talking about lath, which is the thin boards that they put in the wall to put the blaster on. Because you need something to put the blaster on. And that's why those walls are called lather blaster. We use drywall now. Much easier. They were hit so hard, their skulls were actually fractured, and the handle of the hammer was actually broken in two. That takes some serious force, because it's a thick wood handle. Now, we have a time range for when they were killed. Somewhere between 1947 and 1950. Initially, they thought they were a boy and a girl. I'm not sure why, based on the clothes they found and the shoes, but DNA later proved there was two boys and they were brothers. So, they ignored a lead from a logging truck driver who said he picked up a woman, and it's important to note she's wearing a faux fur coat because the boys were covered in a faux fur coat and laid out heel to heel, sole to sole, like this, their feet, and had two little boys with her. And if I'm not mistaken, he said that they had the aviator caps that you can see in the picture that were found with these boys. But like I said, his tip was ignored because they thought they were dealing with a boy and a girl. He said the woman talked to him. She told him her children went to Valley School and that they lived in Mission, British Columbia, and that she had been picked up at some point for vagrancy. He thought she said vagrancy, but in the criminal code, vagrancy or vagsy, VAG space the letter C, is actually soliciting. It's prostitution. So, or it was at that time. I guess criminal codes get updated from time to time. So that was interesting. She was also seen walking with these children. I personally don't believe they were killed where they were. Although, I guess you wouldn't really find blood all that time later. And someone, by the way, speaking of the aviator helmets, someone in my Facebook group said that one of them appeared to be German World War II aviator helmet, which I found interesting. It's also been said that they appeared to be children's versions of the helmets. And maybe Daddy was an aviator. And that is possible. But where was he? And did he wonder where his kids were? Most police believe that the mother was responsible for their demise, sadly. Again, I have a hard time with that given the time period, but I could be wrong. My mother could be right. So, she's right quite often. Once they extracted DNA, found out it was a girl, a number of years later, they have now come to a point where they could put it in Ancestry.com, 23andMe, places like that, for genetic genealogy to try to get hits because their direct relatives are probably deceased. In fact, they exhumed a young man, and I'm not sure why, but they thought he had the same mother. Now, I don't know what the results were because they don't say. Couldn't find it anywhere. And extracted his DNA to match to the boys. Like I said, I don't know what the result was. Wish I did. I would tell you. And Vancouver Police Detective Ron Amiel, Amiel, thinks the boys were born in England between 1937 and 1939. He thinks their mother wanted to start a new life with a soldier, so she bashed her kids. Um, Again, the boys were laid out. If they were killed where they were, they probably wouldn't have been laid out. I almost think because there were two of them, and they were, 7 to 10-year-old boys, so they'd be pretty strong and probably able to fight back to some degree. I wonder if there were two people involved in the murder. Um, you'll see a new, better drawing of what these boys may have looked like in life. I think it's better than the busts. No offense to the wonderful lady who worked so hard to make the bust. I just think the busts look adult, or more adult than a 7 to 10-year-old. It's my opinion, and others could completely disagree with me, and that's fine. In 2018 is when they started the genetic genealogy. The young man was exhumed and DNA extracted in 2015. So a lot has gone on since the last time we spoke about this case. If you'll recall, this case was a blast from the past case in one of my episodes of Kid Missing TV that I did in the studio. Because this case means a lot to me. Like I mentioned earlier, I do have a Facebook group for the case, link in the description. Please check it out. Please like the video, please subscribe, and remember to hit that bell, otherwise you won't get notified. Hit the all notifications. I want to thank all of you guys. I want to thank all of the people who encouraged me to do this, who I'll either watch, obviously, and all the YouTubers that I've talked to that have been more than willing to be nice and to help and to listen. You know, Treasure Hunting with Jeebus, he's always been there for me. Thank you so much, Jeebus. And Amber, thank you to What the Hales for communicating with me. Jeremy, George, it's amazing. And I want to remind you that we have a new Kid Missing Radio coming up. It will go up here after it goes up on the podcast. It is the case of Allie Lowitzer, 16, from Texas. It is going to be February 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 6 p.m. Texas time, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. But it probably won't go up for about an hour after that, because the way it works with Anchor is that I have to upload the audio after I record it. So depending on how long we talk, it'll take about an hour. So please check that out. I will leave the link to Anchor on here in the description, or you can just wait until it comes up in the Kid Missing Podcasts playlist. Again, thank you all. Please, let's get to 100 subscribers before the end of February. I would so appreciate that. It would make me feel so good about what I do. Not that I don't, because I wouldn't do it if I did. I've been doing this since 2012 in some form or fashion. Whether it's through my website, my original podcast, or the new one, which is same name.